Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Carolyn, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Our speaker today is going to be Amanda, and today we're going to go over Kidney Kitchen Pro. It's actually a digital resource for renal dietitians. So I'm really excited um, about doing this. Today, we're just going to discuss the important role that renal dietitians play. We're going to introduce Kidney Kitchen to you all. Hopefully, you've maybe have heard you and you've heard about this tool before. If not, you're going to get a great overview. Again, I'm Carolyn, and I am a registered dietitian as the moderator, and Amanda is going to be your speaker. To get us started today, we are going to launch a poll. I do believe there's a polls tab somewhere in your view. And if you could just quickly answer the poll for us, it's good to just kind of talk about what your professional background is. Like, are you a renal dietitian? Are you a different dietitian? Are you a social worker? Are you a nurse? Are you a tech? Are you an MP, a PA, a nephrologist, or someone else in the renal community? And then also it's going to ask you what your primary patient population is. So you may work in many different versions. You might also have dialysis and transplant and pre-dialysis CKDs stage 1 through 5, but just put the one that you are primarily focused with. Um, so I guess, next slide, please, or the intro slide, right? So again, Kidney Kitchen Pro, and what is that role of, the renal dietitian? Actually, kind of before we do that, I'm going to do a little brief intro. Like I said, my name is Carolyn, and I am a renal dietitian, and I'm originally from St. Louis. I moved to Washington, D.C. I'm located in D.C. right now for my internship. Prior to being a dietitian, I was a fifth grade teacher. I really became interested in kidney nutrition when my nephew was born with one working kidney. I started volunteering with the American Kidney Fund in about 2015. I've been working and volunteering with other kidney action groups as well, including the NKF, Alport syndrome, AAKP. I have worked on many projects with the American Kidney Fund that are really near and dear to my heart, including being a major content developer for the Kidney Kitchen and being part of the dietitian group that helped create Kidney Kitchen, which we're going to go over today. Amanda, you'll be seeing very soon. She is there she is. Hey, Amanda. She is also a renal dietitian, and she's a certified diabetes instructor and education specialist. She is the founder of Healthful Lane Nutrition LLC. And while she's working with dialysis, she became passionate or patients on dialysis, right? She became passionate about patients in CKD when she learned most of our dialysis patients had never met with a dietitian before, right? And I think that's a very common theme. So she really, really is important, really impassioned about like getting that nutrition out to patients before getting on dialysis. She enjoys helping patients understand the complexities of nutrition and CKD and diabetes, and kind of working to remove that fear and stigma of both of those diseases. She values the links between food and culture and health, and enjoys seeing patients thrive with their food and healthful lifestyle. So again, that's just a little overview of us. And then back to that slide about kind of, the renal dietitian, right? We've got some housekeeping items. Of course, I really want to encourage you all to enter any of your questions into the chat. We're going to get those. We're going to get to those points at the Q&A at the end. And of course, please fill out that poll. But as you know, and also the AKF knows, right, that registered dietitians play a crucial role in people living with kidney disease. Dietitians individualize the interventions while guiding our patients to meet their, these unique challenges and these complex nutrition recommendations that we're making. The next slide. The American Kidney Fund really saw the need for credible, appealing, engaging materials for renal dietitians to use with their patients, and thus they created Kidney Kitchen Pro. they created a community of dietitians. We call it the Dietitian Advisory Group. And it was actually a diverse collective of renal dietitians who have this extensive knowledge working with kidney patients in every stage of kidney disease. And thus, Kidney Kitchen was born, right? And they wanted to provide dietitians and other renal professionals in the community with an easy to use, patient friendly resource. And this is what we came up with. So we are really excited to introduce this to you. Renal dietitians can actually use Kidney Kitchen Pro to teach kidney friendly meal plans and meals from an inventory of like 700 plus recipes. They are all backed by the USDA Food Central database. You can even just drop in like a nutrient or an apple here, an apple there, and I'll even tally up all those different nutrients for you. You can build custom toolkits with different well-vetted, easy understand, appealing resources for our patients. You can make a tailored toolkit and send them to your patients. And it also is a really great learning tool for new renal dietitians. So that's a really great thing. Also, it is linked to different credible resources for dietitians. And we actually have the poll results already. So wow, I'm going to get those to you. I'm going to get those up right now. So looks like 35% are people who are working in CKD stages 1 through 5, which is awesome. 17% are only in dialysis. So that's really great that we see people that are going to be working with the 1 through 5 stage, which I think is a really underserved population, right? There's some people who are in transplant, about 11% are in transplant. Endocrinology is here, about 11%. And then other is, the other category was only 23%. And then it looks like, there's a couple of renal dietitians on here. There's a social worker on here. There's some nurses on here, which is great. It's really great that we have a whole plethora of people on this to really show you, like, even though I'm going to be using the term dietitian, but really we're talking about, just the people in the renal community. So next slide, please. And really, this is just kind of like what the homepage looks like, which is really great. And again, there's just so much that this can do. And I'm going to actually, let Amanda take it from here.
Awesome. So we've got a case study as an example, right? Knowing that, as those in the renal community, we do have a diverse patient audience. So we came up with just kind of a case study that I feel like encompasses a lot of the CKD pre-dialysis patients that I know many of us have worked with, right? When many of the people that answer the poll are looking at those pre-dialysis, CKD 1 through 5, maybe even some of it's applicable to transplant. So our patient is a 50-year-old female who also has type 2 diabetes, some dyslipidemia, and gout, right? None of this is unique or new. She's CKD 4, 5, kind of has been bouncing back and forth, not dialysis, trying to do everything she can to avoid dialysis, right? So many people don't want to be on dialysis, and it's totally understandable. Current EGFR is 15. Again, we've kind of been flirting with that CKD 4, CKD 5 line. Current labs, creatinine, BUN, notably elevated. Potassium, higher end of normal, not crazy, right? We're not looking at any super intense potassium restriction needed. And phosphorus, given our stage of CKD, is actually okay, right? Higher end of normal, depending on which guidelines we're looking at here. Height and weight put her at a BMI of 32. She would love to lose a little bit of weight, but is kind of in that perimenopausal stage, making it incredibly difficult to lose weight. And just feeling overwhelmed, likes desserts and sweets, and just feeling that there's a lot of resources out there and seeing lots of conflicting information, right? We get this so much, is that people read something on one resource and maybe it's got those older guidelines with it, or their doctor tells them something for diabetes, but they may not remember that they also have renal disease as well, right? We're not always doing the full comprehensive care with every patient because we're also limited on time, right? There's so many pieces to all of this. So her goal weight, she would love to be 165 pounds. As far as a dietitian, I'm not going to push on that super, super fast for her to get to that 165 pounds. I'm going to encourage, the foods and the understanding of where we're at first. So for those that may not be renal dietitians, I do have some notes over here. So if I'm looking off to the side, those are my notes. We are going with the moderate protein amount. We're not doing any keto analogs or anything like that, as this individual does have diabetes. And we are going to go with the 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram of protein, leaving her kind of in the range of 53 to 71 grams of protein per day. So just as a quick, for anyone that looks at the amounts that we come up with and wonders where that came from. But if you're not sure about the nutrient needs for anyone in that particular case, you can always refer to the renal dietitian and they can give you kind of parameters too. So we're going to launch. We've got our Kidney Kitchen website here. So the first thing to do to get logged in is to go to the For Professionals section, and it's going to launch for you to create an account. Or if you're like me and you've already created an account under a different email, please keep in mind that this one is going to be a professional facing email. Okay. We do not, looks like it already logged me in. Sorry. So we do not want it to be a personal email. You'll simply enter your information, things like your email address, your name, affiliation. That is how it will populate for your patient if you're sending them these toolkits. So you really want to keep that in mind as you're creating that account. Also, there is a forgot a password feature if you're like me and sometimes forget passwords, as we have millions of those. So our Kidney Kitchen Pro dashboard here, there's really a lot of different great pieces to this. So I do recommend before you go into launching, any extensive, toolkit or anything like that, you really start kind of diving into the resources that are there. One thing I will point out, so this is our general dashboard. There are already some toolkits pre-populated. These are not ones that I created. They're ones that AKF staff was so wonderful and added in there for us as a great option. So there are things for a dialysis quick toolkit. Low potassium, moderate protein, not on dialysis. So maybe a little bit of what we're doing here with this patient, but not quite so much. And then down in here, we have different meal plans that can be options. So full on meal plans. There's recipes. So the nice thing about, again, Carolyn mentioned over 700 recipes, we can filter them by nutrient, right? I feel like that's something that even patients can do or clients can do as they're searching Kidney Kitchen, right? They can look through lower protein recipes or heart healthy recipes, or maybe they are trying to adopt a plant-based diet or a plant-forward diet and want to know what the heck to eat to be more vegetarian, right? Or to incorporate maybe a meatless day into their week. So searching kind of those vegetarian only recipes can be super helpful for them. Scrolling down, other great resources. So some of these here, working with a dietitian, maybe you are that, nurse that's working with CKD patients who aren't sure how to meet with a dietitian. You could even send them the quick guide of, hey, here are some things to do to prepare for your first visit with a dietitian. That was one of the guides that is created by dietitians. So it includes things about, what to expect the first time. I feel like when a lot of people meet with a dietitian for the first time, there might be some stigma or fear around what we may ask or what we may talk about. So we definitely don't want that for them. So scrolling back up, we are going to go ahead and launch into creating a meal plan to show that tool, because I feel like as a renal dietitian, that is kind of one of the things I get asked about a lot. And then we're going to show how to put that meal plan into a toolkit with some other resources and then share it with this 50-year-old female patient that we've got. So let's just jump right in. We're going to create a meal plan. We're going to name it. We're just going to do Kidney Action Week. But if this is something you wanted to be able to share with multiple patients or have as kind of a, CKD 4/5, kind of like those other names were, no potassium restriction, moderate protein, that could be a name that you have for it. That way it kind of jogs a note for yourself as well. So we can plug in breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. You can also see down below here, we do have an option to plug in additional ingredients from the USDA database. So this can include things that are whole foods. For example, we're going to do some things like an English muffin, fruits, vegetables, and yogurt. I do recommend, if you're going to be doing multiple of these, to have either in a separate tab, separate window, or even separate screen if you're at a computer that has multiple screens. That USDA nutrient database can be really helpful to have up, because when we go to add foods, as you can see here, it's going to ask for the number of grams. And while the USDA database, if you haven't worked with it, the default is 100 grams serving. We don't eat every food at 100 grams, right? So for example, we'll just launch right in. We're going to do a breakfast for her. We're going to kind of start with a meatless day for her breakfast. She wants to incorporate some meatless options. So let's see, we've got a tofu scramble for breakfast, right? Kind of getting some examples there. And then we're going to add in an English muffin and a tangerine to go with this, to kind of give her a full balanced breakfast from a nutrition standpoint. So start typing English muffin. Hopefully I typed that correctly. There we go. We're going to go ahead and go with a whole wheat English muffin to encourage a good fiber intake. And when I searched that in the USDA database, it said that 66 grams was one muffin. So we're going to go 66 grams. She will not see the gram portion on her initial description of the meal plan. She's going to see these serving size notes. So we're going to put 1 with breakfast. That way she understands, hey, it goes with breakfast. Some of the fruits and vegetables may not be quite so intuitive, but I feel like the English muffin is more common to go with breakfast. Now we're going to add in a tangerine. Now I did try and search Mandarin, and I don't think it came up. Oh, there it is. It does. Okay. So again, sometimes with the USDA database, if you're not super familiar with it, you do have to kind of finagle the terminology on things just a pinch, but there are thousands and thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands of foods in there. So if there are things like that you want to add in, this is a great way to do it, because we know, especially, as I work with more folks that are in that really anemia, chronic fatigue stage, they're not going to cook, 5 recipes a day. They're going to cook a couple recipes maybe, and then batch cook those. And that's kind of what this individual is looking for. So we're going to do a tangerine 1 with breakfast, getting her some breakfast there. And then we're going to add in for lunch, we're going to do let me see where our veggie bowl is here. And then we're going to add, and I do this intentionally, we're going to add some avocado with that, right? So many of my patients and clients hear that they can't have those high potassium foods, but we're going to see how when we add it in, she can have a tangerine. So having 1 tangerine and a half of a medium avocado will actually keep her within the potassium needs and not have her be crazy high, which I love being able to do this and incorporate that and show that to clients, because so many of them come in scared and terrified of having things like avocados because of potassium levels. So let's see, we're going to do a California avocado. I lived in Florida. I have tried the Florida avocados. They are not my favorite. So, all right, half lunch. And then again, as we're doing this, if you're having any questions, drop those in the chat box, the question box. We'll get to them at the end. We're definitely going to leave time for that. I'm also going to add in dinner. We're going to do a cabbage skillet. Or is it the stuffed cabbage? Let me see. We're doing the cabbage roll bowl. We're trying to keep things a little easier to prepare here, but still giving her, primarily some more plant-focused options. She does like her sweets, so there is a strawberry olive oil cake, right, to get some healthy fats in there as well. And we're going to also look to add in some snacks for her because we know that she is also a snacker. So we're going to do some healthy nuts, some pecans. Where's my dry roasted without salt? 1 ounce of most nuts is going to be 28 grams. That's kind of an easy way to remember that one. So 1 ounce as a snack. The strawberry olive oil cake could be a snack or it could be a dessert with a meal. It's just kind of wherever she wants to plug it in. And then she can have that for kind of some leftovers as a sweet treat throughout the week. So here we've got day 1. We're going to go ahead and do day 2, and then we'll save it and we can kind of see some of those nutrient breakdowns for her. So day 2, we're going to incorporate some fish. She does also love fish, so we're going to try and do some of that. So we're going to do, there's a breakfast hash recipe that's enjoyable there. I always like to add a fruit with breakfast when possible. So we're going to add a pear. And then for lunch, some shrimp scampi. And then we're also going to have her do a veggie bake. It's kind of like a little casserole that's got some cheesiness to it. I find a lot of my clients feel like they can't have some of those heartier things, right? The heartier veggie casserole things when they are on kidney disease or have kidney disease, or even have high lipids and think that, you know, cheese is bad or things like that. But this can all be part of that picture for sure. So broccoli, cauliflower, carrot bake, right? Getting some veggies in there. And then we're going to do some teriyaki salmon. If I can spell teriyaki here. Perfect. And then we're going to add some rice with that. So when you look through that particular recipe, it doesn't, at least when I glanced at it, it didn't include any rice. It's just the salmon with the stir-fried veggies. And I do think adding a brown rice, you know, 1/3 of a cup serving for her carbohydrate option there would be great. Plus it gets her a little bit of extra fiber. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. And brown rice was one that was a little bit tricky for me to find too. So again, using that nutrient database and kind of, it lets you learn some extra skills with that if you're not already, if you're not already familiar with it. So we're looking for unenriched brown. It is in here. There we go. So, and then we're going to do all right, so we're going to have 1/3 of a cup of rice with that. And then as kind of our snack or our other sweet treat, there is a watermelon feta salad that lets her kind of have some fun, different flavors, right? And seeing that, you know, yes, we can still have watermelon, but we can combine it with other flavors to create things that are delicious as we go through. To get her a couple other snacks and kind of boost that calorie intake, right? Because this is, when I finished it up, it was actually a little low. So we're going to add in a couple of other snacks to kind of get us to where we need to go. So we're going to do silk peach yogurt. And I believe that was 124. So she does the individually packaged. And then we're going to do almonds to go with that yogurt. And 28 ounces is 1 ounce snack. So we've got 2 days worth of our food kind of outlined here. We're going to go ahead and save this and just see where this breaks down. So we could continue adding, you know, recipes to this, or we could even add in notes. If I can type throughout the week. And then these are for you, you know, if you wanted to put in like trying to add in meatless options or providing recommendations of ways to use fish that are not fried, right? We have some individuals that do that. So you can create the meal plan. This doesn't send it to her. This is just saving it for you. Okay. So now it's saved under my meal plans. We can look at it. So it's got all of those recipes that we added in, and then we can see all of the additional ingredients and foods that we added. And it does give her those notes to try to say, okay, we're going to do this with breakfast, or this is with a snack or lunch or whatnot. So it does give her some extra options. Again, I think I must have forgot something with this first day because we're a little low on our calorie needs here. But if we look at, we can see the breakdown of her nutrients, which is actually incredibly helpful. And for some individuals to see that we're meeting our fiber goal, right? Getting over 35 grams of fiber for a woman is fantastic, but that might also be a counseling point, right? Maybe she hasn't been having that much fiber before. And so working her way up to that and talking about those high fiber foods that are in there, the veggies and the cabbage roll are going to be, and the nuts will also be pretty high fiber. So if maybe she's only getting about 20 grams of fiber, counseling on that so that from a GI standpoint, she can be prepared for, that kind of increased fermentation going on. As dietitians, I know we remember those things, but, when we're providing meal plans, kind of adding in some extra notes for our clients can be super helpful. So this is kind of an overview of how we would add in all of those details. Again, you could also add in leftover options. I know like I've said, a lot of clients don't like to cook every day of the week. A lot of them like to maybe batch cook and have different options for those things. So we are going to close out our meal plan. There are options to email or print. We're actually going to add it as part of a toolkit here in just a minute. So if you wanted to look through recipes, and again, I do kind of recommend doing that before launching into creating a full-blown meal plan, just so you kind of know what's out there. There are different recipes here. Oh, I did click on it. All right, it's taking just a second. Perfect. So again, we've got kind of our quick filters here for different nutrients. So whatever we're trying to find someone for, related to that, if we're looking for, vegetarian options, I feel like that's a pretty common one with folks. And then also difficulty, if we've got, there's a lot of them are easy recipes. We know a lot of people we work with, having things be easier in the world is always a little bit easier for everybody. And then there's different collections, right? So if there's, fall recipes, maybe it's fall season and someone's asking you, I used to love having this type of soup. What could I have? Then you can quickly search that. So we're actually going to filter by, where did it go? We're actually going to filter by vegetarian and just see some of what comes up for our vegetarian recipe ideas. And so then you could kind of make notes of some of those of different things to jot down for, including in meal plans or having as an option. So again, these are all different courses. They're not just, clearly we're going to, not have chocolate chip cookies as breakfast, but we have, egg white omelet. We've got some cauliflower steaks, all kinds of different things. So there's lots of different choices there. So other resources we want to talk about, we will add some of these to our toolkit. So I just wanted to show you a few of them first as my computer loads here. Perfect. All right. So potassium imbalance, potassium reading. If we're sending resources to other professionals, we can do some education on beyond bananas and potassium, right? I feel like bananas are the ones that have gotten the bad rap for so long. So we can send those resources out as well. And then especially for those, on dialysis and post-transplant, including resources about food safety. So we have USDA food safety resources, and we have just a food safety handout kind of guide for them. So let's just kind of click on this food safety one real quick and see. Some of them come up as videos. Some of them have videos embedded with handouts. There's a lot of different options, which is great because we know that different clients like to receive information in different ways. Some individuals prefer, a super short video that they can watch and get the gist of. Other people prefer a handout that can maybe go on the refrigerator or in a patient notebook that they can continue to re-reference. Right. Maybe this one isn't going to load at the moment. all right, we're going to go back and create a toolkit instead with some of these great resources. Okay. And then we'll talk about how to share it with our patient so that she can have those resources for herself. Again, as we're going through this all, if you have any questions or questions about Kidney Kitchen Pro in general, please feel free to drop those into the Q&A. That way we can get those answered for you here shortly. All right, where's my toolkits? There we go. We're going. Under the news section, there's also a very interesting topic that covers current research. I know as a practitioner and as someone seeing, clients regularly, it's really hard to sort through all of the wonderful research articles out there for our patients. And it can be cumbersome to read through all the journal articles. The news section actually does a great job of highlighting all of that in one spot. So it can be very quick and easy for you to get to. Okay. Let's see if we can prompt it here to go back. So while we're waiting on this to load, I'm going to give it just a second. We're still waiting on some loading here. Like I said, I'm not seeing too many Q&A things going on here, so feel free to type in some questions. We can also, looks like Carolyn may have a couple questions for us while we're waiting on our dashboard to load to finish out our toolkit. So if we want to have Carolyn go back, Carolyn can ask a few questions and we can chat through things while we're waiting on things to cooperate for us this morning or afternoon.
You gotta love technology, right?
Right, it's wonderful.
Great. It's wonderful until it's not, right?
It was working really well too. I was like, yes, we're doing great. And then all of a sudden,
it's like a sunspot or something, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of have some questions. You were really making some really great points, but what about some of those cultural recipes? Are there different cultural references or, I saw some empanadas, but
Yeah, so there are several, right? I mean, there are about 700 recipes in there. So there are several. And there are some that are, kind of more Asian inspired. There's a few, the teriyaki salmon. There's, I looked at one the other night that was some really cool, with the rice paper wrappers, which I thought if someone had kids could be really fun. Because you can put a bunch of different veggies in there and just kind of make it really fun. There's several kind of Tex-Mex or even Southern American, Central American ones. I think there's an arepa, there's pupusas. So there's I know there's tons of, different options. So let's see, we're back with our dashboard here. So there are options in that. And there's pozole, there are a few borscht and getting into kind of Eastern European type recipes too. So there's a good variety, I would say. There might not be something that's super specific to someone, but that's where you could pull in something from that USDA database if there's a specific food that they're, most interested in. So we're going to create a toolkit for this individual. Our toolkit name, again, we're going to do demo. We are going to select a meal plan. So if you hadn't already created a meal plan, you could launch into that from here. We're going to go ahead and use the one that we already created. It looks like it's popping up with all of my creations here. So we're going to put in one of those and we're going to put in, it does already come up with a few recommendations for resources. So one of the ones, food safety, I like to always put in. I feel like a lot of people forget about food safety with kidney disease, or it's not always emphasized as much. A few others here, the double whammy, some grocery guides. There's one that I really like on phosphorus, if I can spell phosphorus. So we have a phosphorus food guide. I think that's the one I want. Yep. So we've got a phosphorus food guide. We have cooking supplies, right? Maybe someone's working on getting into cooking a little more and they want some ideas. So we can just kind of plug in some of those. Just adding in a few notes here, right, for her to just make it feel like it's a little more personal. I feel like it's always a nice touch. And again, you can save this as a general toolkit. It doesn't have to be specific to her. It could be, prolonging dialysis or, things like that, so that the individual could be here. And then you can add in different notes. Maybe it's, if I can type while I talk. Right, so these are just for us. So, maybe we have sent her a resource about different types of phosphorus, and we maybe talked about it briefly in our first session, but it wasn't as big of a deal for this particular patient. Then we can go ahead and create that as an option for her. So now we're going to create the toolkit, let it save, let it do its thing. There we go. So this is our toolkit for our patient. We can see it's got her meal plan in here. It's got all of her lovely resources down here. And then we can email it to her. So again, this is going to come from and have your email in it. So whatever email you put in as that account creation is what it's going to come as. So again, please make sure to not use a personal email address unless that is what you want your clients replying to. And then we can also print for those that maybe are in the office or really like things to be more tangible. We can print just the notes and resources as different options or save it as PDF. We can also print each of those resources individually and share them too, if that's what she would like. So we've got our phosphorus food guide here for her and all kinds of different resources. So the phosphorus, these are better kind of emailed because they are sent as options here. So, and then for patients, so maybe you're new to dialysis or you're a dietetic intern and this is like day one in a dialysis unit for you, maybe not on a Thursday, but you can also, learn about, there is a phosphorus toolkit here. So you can learn about that. This is a great resource for facts versus myths about kidney-friendly eating, which I think is great for anyone that's newer to dialysis or has maybe been in dialysis a really long time and hasn't maybe gotten a refresher from the renal dietitian at an in-service or something like that. So it's super, super helpful. One of the handouts, it's a downloadable. So this could be a quick and easy one to add in for patients too. So lots of great options. Let's see if we can go back to our...
Amanda, before you do that, could you maybe like open up one of those guides just so we can kind of see what it looks like?
Yeah, let's open this one since we're already here. So it's going to open as a PDF, which is great because that makes it super shareable for people. So we've got, could be printed, could be emailed, could be even added to, an after visit summary if you're working more clinically. And those types of roles. So different myths. And then, this one I actually helped create. So that's why I'm glad it's a good resource for folks. So this was one that was created by members of our dietitian advisory group here at AKF. So that's what those look like. Again, you can share them however you choose to. So download, print, share in another capacity. And everyone has different rules and regulations on what their system looks like as far as sharing options. But, within Epic or things like that, it's usually pretty easy to add in handouts, or if not, sending those always as a PDF or printing them out and handing them out. Sometimes some of these resources are actually really great to use as your monthly handout for patient education. So the one about myths, the one about phosphorus, those are great monthly patient education resources that are the downloadables that you don't have to create. So other great things coming from AKF that can save us all a little bit of time and frustration. So let's go to that news section. I wanted to kind of highlight that for just a moment so we can actually see what it looks like here. provided it cooperates / my internet cooperates. All right. Any other questions? I haven't seen too many pop up in the chat, so please start popping those in here. That's what we want. So again, current renal news. This is a feed that is refreshed daily, which is lovely. So if there's a topic that is, maybe you're starting to work with, transplant patients or seeing more patients post-transplant, and you're starting to maybe even see some pediatric, kidney transplant patients, and maybe you've only worked with adults before, or maybe you're switching from an in-center dialysis modality to a home modality, right? There's a lot of great research articles that you can read through and kind of look through to stay up to date on things. So love that that's here. It's a great way to stay up to date without feeling super overwhelmed. I feel like it's very easy to do with so much information at our fingertips. It's sometimes hard to know. So having those resources here is great. All right.
Amanda,
yeah.
Also just, Kidney Kitchen Pro, obviously near and dear to the both of our hearts. But what about, like, now all of our people know all about this that are watching this, but what about the patient side? Can patients get into just Kidney Kitchen? Like, what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, let's go to that.
Our nurses could then, and our dietitians can also tell our patients, hey, why don't you go?
Absolutely. So just clicking on the heading here, going to Kidney Kitchen Pro or Kidney Kitchen side of things. So they can access those same recipes. So maybe they can search different foods if they have a cultural preference, or they're gluten-free, or have multiple food allergies or things that they're working with. They can kind of search through those. I really, really like this section that breaks it down, not only by what is going on physiologically, but also nutritionally, right? So those are great resources. Kidney failure on dialysis. Let's go into I know that phosphorus one is such a big topic for everyone. And, bone mineral metabolism is always such a big component of it. Maybe it doesn't want me to go into that today. Let's try fluids. Oh, it did like phosphorus. All right. So this gives the patients some education as to what the heck phosphorus is, right? And where it's found, and maybe how it's different from potassium, right? The 3 Ps, I feel like folks always kind of would get confused at times. So that is where the food guide also lives. And so what does phosphorus do? How can it get out of balance? Hyperphosphatemia, right? While also breaking it down so that it is understandable for our individuals that we work with. And then also talking about low phosphorus, right? Maybe they're post-transplant and have had, or have, something else is going on and they're having low phosphorus, right? How can we work to make sure that we're within range of what we need to be? So there's also education in here about the different types of phosphorus, foods, label reading, all of the lovely things that we, like to have for those, like to have for our patients to understand. So that's where it breaks down based on nutrient. Okay. So again, and then at the bottom, it does have some low phosphorus recipes for folks. So few options for things. Other resources, so there's short videos that people can watch about dining out, grocery shopping, all kinds of different things, just again, depending on how they receive information. So this could be something that you do like a lobby day or different things like that about, and then, maybe point different videos to people as they're, on dialysis. I know sometimes we have those folks that are on their tablet reading things all the time. And so this could be a great resource to point them to, or while they're waiting in, between appointments on a transplant day, right? There's lots of different options that could be utilized here. So let's look and see quickly what those stage guides look like. Let's use our example of our individual who has CKD 4/5, kind of that medium to late stage CKD here. Wait for it to load.
I just think it's really nice that it just kind of brings everything down. I mean, I think coming from a trusted source, it's easy to read. I just think it's a really great tool.
It is. And it's so helpful for our patients to have kind of a one-stop place they can go to. And it's not like, oh, this is just once you're on dialysis, right? This is for you regardless of where you're at. So maybe right now you're on dialysis, but then you're looking to get a transplant. And then maybe after that transplant, you're still kind of wanting to hopefully, yes, please protect your kidneys, but maybe you're at CKD stage 2, right? So let's keep an eye on this and keep coming back to this resource that has that up-to-date information for you. Absolutely. So we've got lots of different things in here, things to generally watch. But again, this is where as a renal dietitian, you can, or, renal nutrition staff can work with your patients and say, okay, what is most applicable to you, right? Maybe they are, like I've mentioned, wanting to incorporate more plant-based options. How does that work? What does that mean? What does that look like? So absolutely. And then, guides and videos for anyone that, likes those either downloadables or just the straight up videos to be able to share. Those are all kind of in one spot, which is really nice.
Could you pull up either like the potassium or phosphorus guide?
Yeah, let me
because
see
I think
where.
those are probably one of the biggest ones, right?
They are. That's what I was looking at. Guide. I feel like there was one right here. Keeping our potassium in balance guide. Okay, so this is part of the Beyond Banana series. And so again, we can download that. We can also see what it's like here. So having this one, what too much potassium can do. And then also some causes and understanding too, yes, there are more causes than just this, but, we don't always want to blame food, right? I know for some folks that's a quick and easy one, but there are medications, bleeding, uncontrolled blood sugars, things like that can also, constipation, all of those things can also contribute to high potassium, as many of us know. So keeping things in balance, right? Keeping potassium in check. And again, I think some folks too, depending on where you're at, I've actually seen some people say, oh, well, I don't need any potassium. I don't want any. And it's like, actually, we can go too low too, right? We've got to kind of find that middle balance with everything. And that's where, having a meal plan as an example can be really helpful of ways to appropriately connect all of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there, I think, could you go to either like the food list one? I think that there's like either potassium or phosphorus, either one of those.
Yeah.
I think that those are pretty detailed, and I think that they are really handy.
They can be really helpful. I think, obviously using our discretion as we send those to folks, because some people I feel like get inundated with lists. I want to filter out all my videos here. I'm going to go to our next page. Yeah, because I did share those with someone once and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. And I'm like, yes, this is a resource for you. This is not, the only thing that we want you to have.
Right.
Let's see. Come back. So let's actually just type in phosphorus here. Since it's a popular search, I know there is one on phosphorus. So
it's the one with the bagel.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Thank you. I was trying to read through them real quick. Okay. So we've got our phosphorus food guide. So as you can see, if I go to download it, it actually stops. It switches into a different tab and doesn't have my screen share. But you can see here that it does have, lots of foods listed. It has low phosphorus, medium, and high. And it does have them sorted by what they are. So beans, meats, nuts, seafood, etc. So you can kind of see where phosphorus is coming from. Again, these would be considered those organic sources of phosphorus coming from foods.
And then one thing that I did kind of want to like shout out about like those phosphorus food or the potassium food guides is I know when working in dialysis and pre-dialysis, everyone's like, oh, well, this is low in potassium, but then it's high in phosphorus. Well, these guides actually kind of clue you in. If you're looking at the phosphorus guide, it'll have a little star if it's high in phos or in potassium, right? So that way you know which one is which, and they're kind of both talking to each other. I think that that's a really handy feature.
For sure. And then they also don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? Like just because we have one meal that or one food that maybe has a little bit higher potassium, another food could be a little bit higher in phosphorus, but that meal equals out to be an okay amount, right? So it's kind of looking at that whole picture. So,
yeah. And then, I mean, also just kind of like in your practice, how have you noticed, like using this tool, how has it helped you in your patients?
I think it's helped guide our conversations to be deeper because I can send out resources to address some of those basics. And so we're not having to spend so much time like rehashing the basics of what are things that could make our potassium high or different things like that. We're able to get to the deeper, okay, how can we work to try to add in more of these plant-based proteins or cut out some of those red meats? What are ways that we can work to get in more activity, right? Kind of getting to the true barriers of things instead of spending time on just the educational piece. Granted, we do still need to reinforce things, but we don't want to just spend the whole time educating someone and not actually coming up with an actionable step.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to show kind of the serving size on some of these recipes too, because I know that's pointed out too. So the nice thing too is it also says, how long it takes to actually prep them. So for these, again, chocolate granola bites, right? Who doesn't love chocolate? And I feel like as kidney disease patients, chocolate sometimes gets a bad rap. So that's why I definitely picked this one. They take over an hour to make total, but there's only 25 minutes of like actual active time. So one bite is actually a serving, which I feel like might be kind of hard to stick to, but they do make 20. So understanding that that is part of it, and you have tons of different ingredients that are going to make those nice and sweet and delicious.
So. Scroll down a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Does it give you all of like the nutrition facts?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Per bite, it gives you the nutrition breakdown. So maybe you are trying to increase total calories, right? Maybe we're post-transplant and we're really trying to get in some more nutrition, or maybe we're trying to get in some more fat to kind of help balance out things. You could go with multiple of these as a serving or as a portion of what you would consume.
Yeah.
These are actually, they sound delicious.
I have made a lot of these.
I haven't had lunch yet, clearly.
I've made a lot of these recipes, and the kidney recipes of past were so weird and bizarre, like using dairy creamer, and it's just they were so bad. These I make these for myself, not this exact, but like I go to and I use these recipes all the time for my own pleasure.
And a lot of them are really quick to make, which is super helpful, right? We all have lots of things going on in our lives, whether or not we have kidney disease. So being able to add in this is a great option.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like there's a lot of different cultural considerations.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like it was pretty easy to tailor these to your different patients and things like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share, and we can come back and hopefully do any Q&A that we've got kind of going on here and wrap things up. Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. And there are a few in here. So first, it says, how does the Kidney Kitchen improve communication and understanding between patients and dietitians? I feel like you kind of had a little bit of that already.
Mm-hmm. And I think it can be a great resource too for, maybe dialysis nurses or techs want to learn a little bit more, right? Or even unit managers want to learn a little more. They hear a dietitian encouraging beans and are like, wait a minute. And you're like, actually, yes, we do encourage beans now, right? And here is how we do it. So using that to kind of educate ourselves across disciplines can be helpful too.
Yeah. Well, and gosh, you just kind of ran right into this next question.
Awesome. I'm not even looking at the questions. This is great.
Are there other uses for the Kidney Kitchen Pro, right? So that's one. I think dietitians are one, or not dietitians, interns, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Even social work, social workers or social work interns, especially related to like that food safety and accessibility piece. Maybe we're working with someone tag teaming, right? I know when I was in dialysis, I was at a safety net hospital. So I was tag teaming with the social worker a lot and working on, shopping at food banks and food pantries. And, when you're incredibly food insecure, what can you eat and how can we work to educate patients on that? And so using some of those resources that are in those different guides or different nutrient pages can be really helpful.
um, also another question was like, hey, can you talk about or show some of those sample toolkits on the dashboard?
Yeah. Let me get one of them pulled up before I share my screen. Sometimes it goes faster. It goes faster on the Wi-Fi end if we're not trying to live share as well, hopefully. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, is there another question while we kind of wait for that to load?
Yeah, for sure. Well, they're all kind of like, like how many servings are in a meal, all those.
Yeah, so the recipes are all going to vary.
Right.
Most from what I was looking at were kind of in that like 4 to 6 range. So again, that also depends on how your participant or your client is cooking, right? Are they a family of 4? Are they a family of 6? How do they do leftovers? So I think having some of those pieces to it too is really important. All right,
sure.
I'm going to go back and share a screen. I do have the dialysis one open, as I know that's kind of a bread and butter for many of us. So we'll get that up here just momentarily. This is the dialysis toolkit. There's not been a meal plan added to it yet on the back end, but the resources that are already pre-existing in there are related to the potassium, the double win of those low phosphorus, low potassium foods, and the grocery shopping list.
Yeah, that's great. And
this is not to say you couldn't add additional items to this. If it were me, again, the patient population I worked with when I was in Florida, food safety was a big thing, right? If we're going to potlucks and things are sitting out for hours, we're going to also add in that food safety component. But that's where you can just edit and add in those extra resources that you would like.
Amazing.
Yep.
And it looks like we are pretty close to time. I just kind of want to do a little bit of like wrap up and things like that, right? I know that like the American Kidney Fund always loves to do kind of a one thing to know, a one thing to do type of thing. And so my one thing to know is, hey, look, but dietitians are always talking about how much we hate making a meal plan, and now these meal plans are easy. I mean, like Amanda, I think you've really just showed how you can drag and drop things and then even add in those little simple things, and bam, there it all is. We don't have to calculate it. It's already done. That is just a game changer, I think. I use it all the time in my transplant population. And I now actually do heart transplants, and I use it all the time in my heart transplant population.
It's cross-disciplinary. It still applies, right?
Yeah. Good nutrition applies everywhere. And these are just good, solid, good for you recipes. And then my one thing to do is I think that, everybody watching today should share this with their colleagues. It doesn't just have to be for dietitians or just for the techs or it's for every professional, I think, who wants to help patients find a good knowledge base and a good safe place for our dietitian or for our kidney patients, right? Amanda,
absolutely.
what is your one thing to know?
I feel like they're very similar, right? One thing to know is that, this isn't just limited to dietitians, right? This can be, like you said, Carolyn, a cross-disciplinary, cross-professional resource that has great knowledge for folks. And one thing to do is to not be afraid to share the Kidney Kitchen site with your patients too, right? Just because there's a professional facing version doesn't mean we have to keep it to ourselves as a dietitian and be like, oh, this is my resource. Like, absolutely not. Let's share the knowledge, share the wealth, and make this take away so much of the stigma that our patients with kidney disease already face. And I know so many of us are trying so hard to already do that because that's what we do. That's our job, right? But to continue to do that and do it in a new way.
Yeah, absolutely. Amanda, I just want to give you a big, big, big thank you for this wonderful demonstration. American Kidney Fund, I want to give you a big thank you. And everybody here, I just want to give you guys a big thank you. And I mean, of course, our call to action is everybody go out and make your own Kidney Kitchen Pro account, right? Make sure you put your professional email.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for having us. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Up next is navigating IGAN, a patient and professional perspectives, is coming up right now. So I'll be even faster. Follow us on Facebook, send us an email through thekidneyfund.org and find out more resources like this. All right. Thank you all so very much. And please take a few minutes to fill out this survey. I can't think now, my words are not coming out. So please take the time to fill out the survey and let us know how we're doing. And so we can also do better for next sessions.